I have spent the better part of my time away here from YouTube obsessing over rigs. What rig do I want next? Do I want another 1-ton truck? Do I want a dually? Do I want a great big camper for winter camping? Do I want a pop-up camper? So on and so forth. You get the point. I had the realization that I was spending all of this time obsessing over what I wanted my next rig to be because I had this pressure, you know? I got rid of my truck camper and I felt like, oh, everybody's expecting me to have a leveled up setup, you know, something bigger and better, or maybe not bigger, but just better, something cooler. And when it dawned on me that, you know, I'm not even concerned with, or I'm not even thinking about the adventures anymore. I'm not even planning out trips. Where do I want to go? What adventures do I want to plan? I was just obsessed with trying to find my next rig. Cheers. Now during this period of time, I actually cycled through a few different setups, thinking that that was gonna be the end all be all, but it's never really an end all be all. I thought that I was headed in the direction to finding what the next perfect rig would be. And so I literally went through maybe 2 to 3 different ideas and iterations, and I put the steps in motion, and I ultimately decided that, oh, actually this probably isn't exactly what I want. And this just kept happening over and over. I thought in my mind, I had made up a decision, and then this came up, and then this came up. Not the most decisive person out there. And part of the reason is there's just a lot of different opportunities and possibilities out there that excite me. And since I get excited by so many different things, it's hard for me to settle with one decision. Part of the problem was, since I had this pressure to find the perfect rig, and I felt like I really needed to rush to figure something out, I was really trying to just make it work under very tight time circumstances, if that makes sense. Good things really do come to those who wait. A good rig takes time to develop. A good rig, the perfect rig, takes, you know, months, years to put all the pieces together and make it happen. And I was just trying to make it happen really quickly. Not to mention, I just kept changing my mind about what the heck I even wanted. No sizzle. Not nearly hot enough yet. That's all right. Not a big deal. After all this back and forth, I finally came to the conclusion that I needed KISS. If you're not familiar with KISS, it means keep it simple, stupid. I needed something very simple. I needed to stop obsessing over all of the different amenities and the different, you know, features and this or that, and I just needed to rediscover adventure again. And what better way to do that than with a good old, simple, bare bones, basic setup. You know, camping rigs are a lot like burgers in a way. There's all kinds of fancy toppings and features and gadgets and gizmos, and it could get overwhelming at times trying to decide what toppings you want to put on your burger. You want the perfect toppings, but there's unlimited toppings out there, and so you get frozen and stuck. And in those situations, just like camping rigs, I would argue that it's probably a good idea to just get back to the basics. Keep it simple, stupid. Tomato, onion, lettuce, cheese, mustard, mayo. It doesn't get more basic than that. Truck, camper shell, very basic build out. It doesn't get more simple than that. And I'll tell you guys what, just because a burger is basic or has simple ingredients, that definitely does not mean that it doesn't taste damn delicious. Don't go too far. You know, I could go on and on about why a simple, minimalistic setup is such a great option, and that can be discussed more in a later video, but I will say that when I started getting into road tripping and adventuring, my first adventure rig was a 2004 Subaru Outback. This just goes to show, guys, that you do not need much to survive. We're out here just living out of our cars, and really there couldn't be anything that I could think of that's better than this, so you do not need much to survive. I built a super basic platform in the back, and it was so tall that my face was damn near touching the ceiling every time that I slept, and I loved that rig. I traveled for years in it, and I never had a problem. I've been a backpacker for a long time now. I spent many nights in a tent, sleeping in the dirt in the middle of the mountains, and that has been plenty comfortable enough for me. I briefly lived in a 1991 Toyota 4Runner with no build at all. I literally just put a sleeping pad in the back. I had the seats folded down, I had some storage tubs, and that was plenty comfortable enough for me. Of course, over the years, as I spent more time doing this, my needs, my wants, they kind of, at least in my head, shifted. We're creatures of comfort. The more comfort we have, the more we get accustomed to that comfort, the more we expect that comfort. But it's really refreshing to get back to my roots, to a bare bones, simple, minimalist setup, and it's awesome, you know? I think for the purposes of the near future, I think that this rig is going to suit me very well. All right, so before I end the video, I am gonna just give you a quick rundown of what the rig even is, what the setup is kind of looking like. Now, I'm not gonna do a full walkthrough or anything like that because I just put this together basically yesterday. And so I wanna wait a little bit till I have things a little bit more set up to do a full walkthrough. But for now, let's just go over the quick basics. So the truck itself is a 1998 Toyota Tacoma 4-wheel drive, 5-speed manual transmission. It's got the 2.7 liter 3RZ engine, 4-cylinder engine. It's my first 4-cylinder vehicle in quite a while actually. And it's got nothing automatic. All of the locks, all of the doors, everything is fully manual. And it's basically as bare bones as it gets. It's even got the manual locking hubs and everything. And it's kind of funny because I went from pretty much the biggest truck that you could get a Ford F-350 into almost, I would say, the smallest truck you could get. This is just the classic adventure rig though. Toyota Tacomas, as you all know, are super popular, but the first gens specifically have a cult following because they're even smaller than the modern Tacomas. These things can be taken up very narrow forest roads, and the 4-cylinder is really good on gas. I'm getting like 18 miles per gallon compared to the 10 or 9 miles per gallon that I was getting in the Ford. Obviously, I am sacrificing a lot of the comfort, but it is what it is. And this here is my high-rise camper shell. As you can see up top, we got some crossbars. I will be able to put a roof storage box on there eventually. It's really tall. It's much taller than the cab, like you can see here. And that's gonna be really, sorry, the sun was in your face. That's gonna be really good for when I have it more set up inside. I could actually sit up comfortably inside the truck bed. I got this on Facebook Marketplace. I literally just picked it up yesterday. But yeah, it's a super basic camper shell. And this is the inside of the truck bed. As you can see, there's some curtains strung up there. There is this platform that's on a welded steel frame. I believe it's steel. And as you saw me using earlier, we got a stove here on drawer slides. This is what it's looking like right now. So I actually got this entire setup together as a package deal. I was in the market for just a truck camper shell, and I happened to see this entire setup: the camper shell, the roof rack, the steel frame, the platform, the stove. There's even a battery system that he included with a red arc DC to DC charger that allows the battery system to charge from the truck's alternator. We'll get into more details later. I don't even have that wired up yet because I just picked this up last night. I threw it on the truck, threw some stuff in here, and I decided that I was gonna get out here and at least cook a little bit of food and, you know, test things out. But yeah, I mean, all in one, I didn't have to put in any effort into building anything out. And I'll probably use this setup as it is for a little while. I mean, it's ready to go. I could literally just buy some food, buy some water, hop in and start adventuring again, which is really, at this point, what I need to be doing. And so that was a huge benefit, to be able to just buy a setup that was ready to go as is. And a little bit down the road, I could figure out what kind of build I want to do, so on and so forth. But for now, I'm going to be rocking this, and again, I will show you guys a little bit more in-depth details once I get everything wired and set up more properly. Are you tired? You've literally been running around non-stop since we got here. But you have endless energy, don't you? You're a little cattle dog, a little herding dog. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Okay, bye. She is obsessed with these orange chuck-it balls. Totally obsessed. Now, this does not mean that I don't have other things working in the background. I do actually have some plans that I'm starting to try to put the pieces together. But like I talked about earlier, that kind of stuff is just gonna take a lot more time. And I wasn't gonna just sit around any longer until I have all of that figured out. I wanted something that I could just get in and go and start adventuring again, start putting out videos for you guys, and really just get back out there, you know. I've been frozen, I've been stuck for far too long, and this simple, refreshing setup is the exact thing that I need to get back out there. That being said, I think I'm gonna end this one here. I'm not actually camping tonight, but do expect to see the first night in this new setup in the very near future. Like I mentioned, I have to just get all the wires connected, get it kind of a little bit more dialed, and then I'm gonna be camping in it. So expect to see that very soon. Thank you guys, like always, for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.